All right. Energy costs, revenue versus cost of kilowatt hour deployed. Massive downtrend long term in both the revenue per kilowatt hour and the cost.
Hmm.
But you can see that because the margins now are at 30%, there's a nice spread between the two lines.
Right.
Right. So, very challenging environment, but they're managing it extremely well and making some nice profit doing it.
Right. Yes.
Okay. And just to smooth things out here, I'm looking at trailing 12 months. It's showing quarterly, but each number is a trailing 12-month
That's
number.
good. Yeah. That's
Otherwise,
perfect.
it gets really bumpy
Yeah.
because energy deployments have been pretty bumpy.
Once again, I hate to keep mentioning the Elon Musk mission, which everybody should read as a course in how things run at the company. But we projected back in the Elon Musk mission that the costs of these batteries would be coming down, and as they have. Yeah.
Yeah. And then here's again the history of the margins. This gives you a longer term perspective in terms of where they were. There was a time when they were pretty good and then they went way negative. Some challenges, but in recent years, they've really pushed this up. Now, this business may well be hurt the next few quarters with tariffs, but once they get more domestic production, LFP batteries produced, that should mitigate that issue a bit.
Yeah, I did hear them saying in the call though that the tariff issue on the batteries was something that the customers got. They
Yep.
understood it. This is, of course, is only going to apply to U.S. business. And I know that there are some, I mean, not no. No is not quite right. I would say it's probably 80-90% certain that there are aspects of the contracts that take into consideration the changing costs of battery materials that helps both the customer and Tesla
Yeah.
as we have these erratic moves in raw material costs. Well, I would have to think that tariffs are similar in that regard. That is part of the raw material cost. So I think they're protected in some ways regarding this.
I think so, and I think the ROI for people deploying these batteries is way more than the extra 10% cost or whatever it might be on some of these systems. So, most of the buyers of these don't care, particularly if it's being used for AI data center.
Right.
That's mission critical. You're going to pay whatever price you have to get that in there.
Exactly.
Energy cumulative gross margin, we're now approaching, we're over 6 billion. So making nice strides there. And actually, this quarter was the highest gross margin amount in dollar terms
Okay.
ever for energy.
Okay.
Okay, I haven't heard anybody talk about that.
Right. I
And
also
then this,
I also think that people are not taking into consideration that the lumpiness being a little low this quarter probably implies lumpiness going the other way, maybe by a lot in the next quarter.
yes, and actually, this chart maybe speaks to that a little bit.
Okay.
So reported revenue in green,
Okay.
quarter by quarter. Okay, so you can see that for energy, it's a little bit down relative to a couple other quarters.
Mm-hmm.
I track something called indicative revenue, which is the combination of reported revenue plus the change in deferred revenue plus
Right.
the change in unsatisfied performance obligations.
Right.
Right. And without getting into too much detail, those are all elements of the revenue picture for Tesla Energy.
Mm-hmm.
But reported revenue is what they can report today based on deployments. The other one is kind of more indicative of what they will report at some point in the future. So if there's a positive spread between these two lines, that means they're kind of putting money in the bank
Right.
that will be shown later as revenue and profit. And we don't know exactly when, but it doesn't matter that they're putting money away for the future that'll come back.
Right.
Okay. So if we look at now trailing 12 months, I'm smoothing things out a little bit now with this one.
Mm-hmm.
The difference between reported and indicative is over $5 billion,
Wow.
right? This quarter. Now, the prior quarter it was a bit more. Let's come back a bit. So there's lumpiness quarter to quarter.
Right.
Like this here was exceptional
Right.
in Q1,
Right.
right? So that was a tough comparison there, but there's still, a massive difference. Now, one of the things that I just noticed, and this isn't perfect, but you can see here for this Q4, Tesla reported about 10 billion, while the indicative revenue about 4 quarters earlier was about 10 billion.
Mm,
Here it was close to 11. It was 11.
yeah,
Here now this was showing almost 13, and this only came at 11. So this, I'm not suggesting this is a perfect metric that it's always sort of 4 quarters.
right.
Well, actually, I'm sorry, that was only a few quarters, but either way, it's indicative of higher future revenues to come,
Sure, sure.
albeit lumpy.
Right.
Okay. Haven't been able to figure out the magic number here yet, but
Right.
continue to track it and continue to be encouraged by it.
I just ask Grok.
Yeah, well, I don't think Grok will help me with that, but I guess we can try. Maybe Grok will know. Anyway, so here are the changes on a quarterly basis of deferred revenue. So deferred revenue is growing. Sometimes it shrinks. And then the unsatisfied performance obligations in Q1 was huge. This quarter, it was more modest.
Right.
But again, that's consistent with prior fluctuations.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then here it is, the total balance. We've got over 12 billion of deferred revenue that's not been recognized yet,
Right.
and unsatisfied performance obligations, which is also revenue that's not been recognized yet.
Right.
Now, if you recall, this 12 billion, Randy, is more than a year's worth of current
Right.
Tesla energy.
Right.
Okay, so they've got a year plus worth
Right.
of revenue kind of sitting there on the side waiting to be recognized. So Tesla Energy is in a strong spot. The lumpiness makes it tough, but long term, this business is headed in the right direction. Now, these unsatisfied performance obligations, part of it is short term, it'll be recognized this year. That's kind of the pink area. Okay, and then you can see there's a decent chunk there. And then part of it, sorry, that's long term. And then short term is the darker purple.
Okay.
It's becoming an ever larger piece. So more and more of this unsatisfied performance obligations is short term. It's going to be recognized in the next 12 months. But there's still a pretty decent chunk that'll be more than 12 months out before they recognize it.
Yeah.
Okay. And that is over $10 billion, just that alone. The combination of the short and long term.
Sure.
All right. That's Tesla Energy.